Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I can't believe we are sitting here on June 13th. Where did the month go? Half over almost. Can't believe this. Today, I got an email and I just had to talk about it. It was another email from a company telling me how they can help me out because, and let me read the words directly, they recently built a tool that lets you scrape emails from your target audience on Twitter, completely on autopilot, so that you can save time and money on lead generation. The word I want to stress here is scrape. That means they are just randomly going through Twitter, grabbing the email addresses and able to give them to you. These people have not opted in to getting promotions from you. That's the key. Right now, the world of lists and data is like the Wild West. There is no rules and regulation. Back when my mother started this company, back in 1980, we're going to be celebrating our 43rd anniversary in August. The whole reason why she started the company is because she saw a need for good quality B2B lists. And at the time, you have to remember, 43 years ago, it was for postal lists. So she went around the world talking with publishers and conference companies to find good quality lists for companies like McGraw Hill, Frost & Sullivan, CalTech, Technomic to use for their own promotions. Of course, they would rent that data for a one-time use. But the whole industry back then, there was a large industry for list managers and list brokers. And we would meet regularly at conferences and talk about best practices and regulations, what publishers were doing to keep their files cleaned and updated, and also what mailers were doing. Were they using the list ethically? Were they using the list more than once? These were all things we used to discuss, which kept the industry tight. It kept the industry of high quality data. But today, because we don't have that industry to hold us together, it's kind of like we have all this stuff out there, all these people saying, I've got this list for you. Hey, let us scrape the emails off of Twitter. We all get those emails in saying, what do you need? Do you need C-level executives in this industry, or in this industry? We've got it for you. And you can get it. And it won't even cost much. But let me warn you. First of all, there's the whole compliance issue. If you are going to get data or a list, you want to make sure that these people have opted into getting third-party messages. You also want to make sure that the list owner is following all compliance regulations, whether it's in Canada, CASL, if it's over in the UK, GDPR, or internationally, or here in the United States, we had CAN-SPAN, and now we're having different state regulations. You've got to make sure that the data you use is good data where people have opted in and it's compliant. That's the first thing. Because if you use data that's not, you could end up tarnishing your reputation. You could end up getting your domain blacklisted, which means you're basically paralyzed. You can't do anything. And you could get hit with the penalty. So if your sales team comes to you and says, oh, I've got this list of 500 people, I'm going to add it to our database. Whoa, where did you get the list from? Have these people said they're interested in receiving our information? You've got to make sure that all that information and all those things are answered before you add things to your database. The next thing is when you go to look for lists or data, You want to go to sources you trust. And so this is the key. You've got to know what the source of the data is. How did these people get put on the list? Did they subscribe to a magazine? Did they attend a conference? Did they register for a webinar? Whatever it is, you need to know what is the source of the list. You want to know, did they pay for it? Did they qualify for it? Or was it just a free offer? And then when you look deeper into the lists that you're going to use, it's always great to have lists where it's self-reported, meaning that the individual, for instance, I just went to the Interfex trade show. When you go to register for a show, they give you all these questions to fill out. They're self-reported. I self-reported the information. If I'm going to a trade show and I'm paying money to go, I make sure I answer those questions as accurately as possible so that I get the promotions that are most interest to me. That's why self-reported is so important, because if it's just being scraped or harvested off the internet, people are just guessing. Sometimes when they're harvesting emails, they're just guessing how the email is. So maybe they have the domain name, but now they're guessing it's D. Peterson. Or they're guessing maybe I just go Donna P. That's why when you use sometimes really large data platforms, you end up with invalid emails because they never had the actual individual email. They might get those generic emails like info at, inquiry at, but they didn't have the individual's email address. And of course, if they're guessing, they did not get approval to use that email address. So 43 years ago, my mother went on that mission to find good quality lists. And I have to say, not knowing it really, I picked up this baton. That's why I do the LinkedIn Lives. That's why I have a podcast now, all B2B marketing excellence. It's all about talking about good quality lists and sources for companies to use. Because I'm sick of going into companies and they're telling me marketing doesn't work. Well, it doesn't work if you're renting garbage. I was talking to someone today and they even pointed out, you're right, it's the old adage, garbage in, garbage out. You've got to use quality data. You have to know the source of the list. You got to make sure that the list can be segmented down to reach your specific audience. When you do that, and I'm not just throwing out a number here, when you use quality data and lists, you will save your team at least 5 steps, and they'll be able to close their sales faster. The reason why is they're already speaking to the right person. They have the accurate email. They know that that individual is looking for, I don't know, an industrial auction. They're looking for an executive education program. They're looking for some kind of marketing technology platform. They've already told us this. And so when your sales team reaches out to them, because they have so much information, they can kind of reach out to the individual with really the meat, some really good information that will be of interest to them. It won't be just, hi, how are you? My name is Donna Peterson. We're a B2B marketing agency. How can we help you? First of all, they're not going to pick up the phone. They're very busy. But you know what I'm saying? If we cut through, we know the individual, we know what they're looking for, that's when we can send them marketing messages that speak directly to them. Saying, I can save you time and money by making sure you only use sources that will enhance your brand, not tarnish them, and will get you the response you're looking for. Help me on this journey. It's not a journey I can do on my own. I need other people to join me to speak out about quality marketing and quality initiatives, because we're all getting these emails. We're all getting them. How many do we all get a day? I know I must get at least 10 a day of either platforms or of lists. And I can't tell you how many times I've gone in and said, take me off your list. Or if they're offering me a conference list of a conference that hasn't even taken place, I have to tell them what you're doing is illegal. It's illegal to be using that conference company's name because you do not have their conference list. Think about it, conference company, that attendees list is their bread and butter. There is no way they are renting that out before a show even begins. So join me on this mission. Help me spread the word about quality marketing lists, data, platforms, and tactics. Join me every Tuesday for a LinkedIn Live. I would love someone to come on live, tell us what works for you, what doesn't, things to stay away from. I love this to be a nice collaborative setting where we talk about this. Or if you'd like to come on the B2B Marketing Excellence podcast to talk about your quality source, what you do with your list in-house to keep it clean, keep it updated, and keep it compliant. I hope you found this information helpful, and I hope it gave you some food for thought of things to think on. You know, my mom back 43 years ago, ahead of her time, to take that on herself, start a business that she had to form to support our family. That was the only income coming into the house. So it wasn't as if she did it, as a side thing to buy a lamp. It wasn't like that. So join me on this journey. Help me spread the word about good quality marketing initiatives. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to reach out to me at dpeterson@worldinnovators.com. Or of course, you can put something down in the comments and I will always get back to you. Have a great day. Bye.